started. Does anyone want to get out?
Hi, everybody. I am Nick from the Phoenix Press, and welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy, where everything is canon and the topics, where they're more like a set of guidelines than actual rules. Joining me, as always, is the man with the worst ships, Jared from Comics League. How's it bagging?
Well, Nick, here's the question I have for you. If everything's canon, that means M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar movie's canon.
All right, and Jared will not be joining us this stream. And then also on the flip side, the woman with the best ships, Nyx. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing good.
That is awesome. And then
she's really excited to cover her favorite comic, Avengers 200.
Oh yeah, just as soon as I get that sweet money.
Yeah, she gets got a JoJo about a Chad addiction. And then joining us is frequent guest Sharon. How you doing, my man?
Oh, hanging in there, living day to day. Glad I can be part of the show for once.
Yep, and then lastly, the man whose favorite activity is
ticket it and make a name gay.
is Chris. How you doing, my man?
That was great. Oh my god.
I want my linguine, Tim.
Oh,
great.
So, we were talking about this right before the needle drop, but let's just get this out of the way. Avatar.
So I want to be clear on something. So Nick and I have been covering Avatar. Yeah. So Nick and I have been covering Avatar for a while on his show. Now, the thing is, I started to get massive red flags recently. Like when they said they're going to tone down Asaka's sexism, because I'm like, that's kind of...
Oh, you mean like something that only for the first 4 episodes and is actually... You literally have a woman literally beat the sexism out of him?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it because I can't find the actual article. It was more like tweets, but the problem is then they say they're not gonna go like they're not gonna go on that many tangents in the show. They're just gonna do the basic plot, and I'm like, that works for season 3 because season 3 is all over the place. But season 1, you can afford to go on a few side quests.
I mean, nobody's gonna miss it if they skip the Great Divide. Like nobody's gonna complain. But like some of the side stuff is actually really important.
Okay, so. Oh, by the way, I have the tweet pulled up if you want me to share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so let me do that real quick.
They said that they weren't going to include many of Katara's more feminine aspects.
Yeah.
So what it says here, actually, is this the right thing? All right, so what it says here, to make Avatar: The Last Airbender a serialized drama, Aang will not go on many detours looking for adventure like riding the elephant koi. We essentially give him this vision of what's going to happen, and he says, I have to get to the Northern Water Tribe to stop that from happening. So he's just hyper-focused on one thing, which I'm like, that's not Aang.
The Merry Misadventures were the best part of season 1.
Yeah. That's not Aang, because remember, he first wakes up and he goes, you want to go penguin sledding with me?
I mean, a very key part of Aang's early character development, and I would say even the whole point of season 1 is entirety of season 1, he was running from his role as the Avatar. That's how he ended up in the iceberg to begin with, is he was running. And by the end of season 1, he decides to stop running and actually embrace becoming the Avatar. Like that entire arc of season 1, you literally just misunderstood the entire point of his arc in season 1.
I think they also forget that he's, he's the Avatar. He's, quote unquote, the savior of his world. But at the same time, he's 12. He's a kid. Of course he's going to want to ride the elephant koi. Of course he's going to want to go penguin sweater.
Also, they say elephant koi. So how are they going to get to Kyoshi Island? It's key that they have an entire episode devoted to Kyoshi Island. Also, A. Pierce, how you doing? Happy Friday, TGAF. Like, that was the whole reason they were at Kyoshi Island to begin with, was to ride the elephant kois.
Exactly.
So, like, they got, like, I don't know, just the more I see from these creators, the more I just feel like they don't understand the story they're adapting. Like Nix was saying with, like, Katara's gender roles. Also, hey, Nemo, how you doing? Like,
which is why, Nick,
without
I was
Katara literally calling out Sokka for being a sexist pig, we wouldn't even have a show to begin with. Because literally, you know, she's doing like this, and that unlocks the iceberg. So it's like,
which is why, and this whole experience is don't worry about that. So recently, the thing about it, that Pierce, but it's also like, this has taught me a very valuable lesson. I don't trust adaptations anymore. I don't, because there are way too many examples of horrible adaptations. Unfortunately, movies like Sonic and Mario are the exception to the rule.
Like, there is room for doing something different because you're translating it to a new media. I'm not a One Piece fan, but apparently One Piece, the adaptation on Netflix, they got it. You know, obviously Sonic. Like, Sonic is actually quite different from his depiction in the games, but it has the spirit of the character. And we will be talking about Sonic.
And by the way, I'm going to say something. I plan on tweeting this out, but I'll give you guys a preview. I want to tweet out a tweet that says, so the Avatar show, which was marketed as not having anything to do with the Avatar movie, is ending up pretty much like the Avatar movie.
I just like to point out that Sokka was never really sexist. At least that's how it ever read to me. He was, and I first watched the show. I haven't seen it in years, but I first watched the show when I was a kid, and it seems less like he was a sexist douchebag and more that he was kind of coping with his trauma. Like, think about it like this: Sokka's a fairly young kid from a really small community where the men were the only ones who went off to fight, and the women stayed behind with the children and the elderly. Of course, he can have very set, like, thoughts about how women and men are supposed to behave.
Also, you got to realize,
society.
The men left for war years ago. Like, if you look at the flashback, like, you can make the argument they left 5 years ago or something. Like, I don't know the actual time frame, but for years, Sokka was the man of the village. He was the oldest. He was like the oldest male in the village. So the duty of protecting the village fell to him. You know, so he's had to bear this responsibility. He has no idea what it's like to be a man or a warrior. And, you know, it's like, and he grew up in a society with strict gender roles. And so I don't think he was, like, deliberately being sexist. I think he was just ignorant. Because, and that really shows, the minute he encounters something different, and he showed it a different way, he accepts it and modifies his beliefs. So that, to me, screams more ignorance rather than whatever. I can't.
Oh man, Nick, you just described what a lot of these modern writers are incapable of understanding: a character arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
or context.
And they're talking about Katara, like, you know, like Katara, like, oh, some of the gender stuff. So you're telling me there's not going to be a scene where she literally beats up a guy, beats up the patriarchy, you know, like, I mean, that's literally what she does at the end, but we like it because it's done well.
But okay, so here's something funny about Katara too, and you can't claim sexism because I'm a woman YouTube, haha, got you there. But like, Katara is very overbearingly motherly because she had to be. Like, there's a scene later
and the show calls her out on it multiple times.
Yeah, but they even have a point of having Sokka, while he's talking to Toph, mention how whenever he tries to picture their mother's face, it's Katara's face. And you can just, from that moment alone, even though she's the younger sibling, it says a lot about what she and Sokka had to go through after the Fire Nation's attack.
Yeah, and the thing I love about the show is yeah, she's very motherly. And the show calls her out on it, but then also the show is like, yeah, it's kind of important. So the lesson is Katara doesn't need to not be a motherly figure. Maybe she needs to lighten up sometimes, and Katara can be a kid. Like that's why the scams episode. Remember, Jared, when we covered the one with all the gambling?
Yeah.
Like I think that was really important, where Katara actually got involved with scams and she got to have some fun with Toph. I think that was a very important lesson for both of them. And then Nemo just like basically just hit it straight home.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I just don't understand what is it about these creatives. Well, actually, I do understand that they are adapting material, but can't actually adapt it. They have to change it. And what it probably is that they have these ideas for shows that are crappy ideas that would never be made to actual TV shows. But then they're like, I'll just slap Avatar or here I'm getting really current with you, Halo, and then people actually show up for it.
Yeah. So enough of that. Let's So we need to switch up topics here. So I come with you guys with a heavy heart. So a few days ago, the proverbial love of my life, Courage, passed away in my arms. You guys may have seen this unfold on Twitter. And he was fine the day before, but like the next day he wasn't fine. And he will be missed. And do you guys want to kind of share like what your personal kind of like thoughts on Courage, or like what Courage meant to you guys? Like I know he was my rat, but like I shared a lot and whatnot, so. Do you guys want to say anything?
He was a very good rat.
Yeah. Jared?
Probably that he brought you a lot of happiness, and that's what we can thank Courage for. Yeah,
the one good thing I can think about is he's now in like rat heaven with his brother Drake. There's both of them together, and I probably will get more rats at some point. But we're saying sorry, Keely. We're saying goodbye to my buddy. Rest in peace, Courage. I just want to note that like Courage was a feeder rat, and without me, he would have been snake food. And so I take solace in knowing he lived a really good life. And so rest in peace, buddy.
R.I.P.
So, and I hate to do this to you guys, but we have to do another memorial back to back. But so I don't know if you saw this. This is kind of the news kind of breaking on Twitter right before we went live. But Carl Weathers, the man who's played many things, Apollo Creed has passed. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's like darn it,
76.
Another good one gone.
76, like 70, like dying in your 70s. It always feels really weird to me because, like, okay, yeah, at 70 you still kind of lived a full life, but it still feels young to die in your 70s,
Especially nowadays.
I think that's the average, like life expectancy. It's actually gone down
American,
less.
yes.
Yeah.
I thought more people would like live into like their 80s than their 90s. I don't know. But Carl Weathers, he was a legend. He was a freaking legend. Apollo Creed, Predator. What is your guys' favorite Carl Weathers role?
You son of a bitch.
What's the matter? CIA got you pushing too many pencils?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, he's really good in Predator. I think he's really good in that role.
And
yeah,
then he was good as a Grief Karga from Mando.
Oh yeah. Did he do anything for Halo? I feel like that dude would do something for Halo.
No, I wish he did because he has
He's in
the
Happy
voice.
Gilmore.
Yes.
Oh my god. I mean, most people nowadays would know him as like Grief Karga from The Mandalorian, which I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he did
in that role.
Chubs.
I think I'll always remember him as Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like what he's most iconic for.
Action Jackson.
Oh my god. Hey, you get some potatoes and some you got a stew going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where he was in Arrested Development as Carl Weathers.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's just insane. So I think that's enough like heavy topics. Let's talk about something pretty. Happy birthday, Sonic!
Heck yeah.
And
All right.
apparently Eggman has raided his Twitter account on account of Sage.
Yep, we'll be getting to that.
And
Jared,
Jim Carrey is confirmed to be returning for Sonic 3.
Yep.
You guys are, but I had it pulled up. I was gonna wait till we kind of got around to that topic, but you guys are all eager. So, yeah, Jim Carrey is returning for Sonic 3, and I'm actually really, really happy about this.
I mean, Jim Carrey was basically made to be Eggman.
See, here's what I like about Jim Carrey as Sonic, and it's Sonic.
Sonic, jeez,
Freudian slip right there. But like, what I like is he's basically kind of doing like his '90s shtick, and you can tell he's having so much fun with the role. But like,
basically Ace Ventura.
Yeah, like I haven't seen this kind of energy out of Jim Carrey since he did The Grinch.
What I will say, one of my favorite lines he did was in Sonic 2 when Sonic goes supersonic. He goes, "I like the gold. It works for you."
He just like he makes that movie so well.
Dude, I like the fact that they put a nod to Ugandan Knuckles in Sonic, where Eggman goes, "Oh yes, I will show you the way."
I mean, my favorite was in Sonic 1, where the guy holds up the drawing and it's Sonic. They literally put Sonic in the movie. Like, you can tell they knew what they were doing with the references. Like, putting Sonic in the movie, like.
Yeah. Well, you can also really tell that Jim Carrey is basically pulling his ultimate anti-Ace Ventura while being essentially 100% Ace Ventura. All the meanness, the pettiness, all that is just on full display. And
you must be the Monopoly guy. Hey, thanks for the free parking.
And what I love about it is they actually still kind of squeezed in a little bit of a backstory through his dialogue. Like, he was always a kid that was bullied, and like basically he uses his intelligence as like a coping mechanism. Like, oh, you may be able to beat me up, but I'm smarter than you. Like, you'll work for like it has real. Oh, when I grow up, you're gonna work for me someday. Energy.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, they actually they squeezed out a character. Like, it's a 2.5 dimensional character.
But to be fair, Eggman has always been 2.5 dimensional at his most deep.
Yeah, he's literally the mustache twirler.
They gave him the mustache in the second movie. Oh my god, yes.
By the way, can I say what I love is that the Sonic Twitter had a great teaser for Sonic 3 where it's basically where
you pulled up here
said, it's Eggman taking over the thing, but the text is, "You thought I was gone, but I've just been underground. What you've seen from me is only a shadow of things to come."
Wait.
Edgelord detected.
Wait. Did they say underground? As in Sonic Underground?
Oh wow!
Like that? Like, you got to realize that could be deliberate. I mean, with all the stuff, the fact that they said underground and Sonic Underground is a famous cartoon.
And
like
Shadow.
Sally Acorn, everybody? Is Sally Acorn gonna
Shadow, my boy Shadow.
All right,
Can they
we
give
got
him
to
guns? I would love for them to make him the Shadow the Hedgehog game.
He's gonna use guns.
And one thing that I really love about Jim Carrey's Eggman is he encapsulates both halves of Eggman really, really well. Both of Jim Carrey Eggman is a legitimate threat especially when he wants to be, and he can give you those moments of, oh crap, this is like Eggman at his most Eggman, but at the same time, he's got the sheer zany, silly mustache twirler Saddam energy.
Also, can we address like the one rumor that's like there's a rumor that Hayden Christensen is going to be voicing Shadow?
I want that so bad.
Yes.
You underestimate my ultimate power.
Yeah, I really hope that like Shadow goes to Eggman. I hate you.
Yeah.
I feel like if they do cast him, they are gonna like put some episode 3 lines in there, and Hayden Christensen's gonna read them, be like, "Really, guys?" And then he's just gonna do them in the best.
I would also love it if like a Shadow was doing like a brooding monologue, and then Sonic goes, "Easy there, Darth Vader."
Yeah.
Or like he sees children, and then Sonic goes, "Nope, nope, nope, stay away from the younglings."
or even better, like he's going through weapons, and he ignites a beam saber. It's like, I don't need that, and then he gets like but this. And then he gets a gun.
He gets a gun, and I swear.
But he tosses away a lightsaber, basically.
Yeah, because Shadow the Hedgehog was like the most badass Sonic game, so I'm like, I want that. I want him to use machine guns.
So Pal World with Sonic characters.
Yeah, that's what it was. Which, by the way, here's the thing: he won't use guns. You know why? It's Hollywood making this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. This like I feel like he probably will use guns at least for him because. Shadow using guns is kind of like a key meme of his character, so I feel like they'll at least have him use it for like a little bit, at least kind of acknowledge the Shadow uses guns thing.
Or they might use it as a point to morally grandstand. He'll get a gun, look at the camera, wink and nod, and say, "I don't use these."
I disagree because the Sonic movies seem to have kind of like sidestepped a lot of that stuff. So
I don't know, man. You got more faith in Hollywood than I do.
Nick. Remember, you were the one that was all gung-ho for that Avatar show.
Well, let's wait and see. Okay, let's not. Avatar, they opened their mouth and but Sonic has literally done nothing to
I will say this. Both of the Sonic movies, regardless of your stance on them, have both been relatively solid movies.
Yeah.
Excusing one or two minorly cringe scenes like Sonic flossing, but at the same time they've been solid products that have mostly sidestep stuff. So I'd say let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's go and watch it and then cast our judgments.
Heyo, Steven, how you doing?
I will say this:
Nemo has the best idea ever.
Yes, I want silver. Which, by the way, Nick, here's some more news for the Sonic 3. Kristen Ritter was just cast in the movie. They don't say who it is, but people are
Sally
saying
Acorn. We're getting Sally Acorn.
No, because the other thing is like they're like, how about Rogue the Bat?
Or she could be Amy. She could be Amy.
Yeah.
Or Amy.
I really hope they introduce Amy first.
Yeah, they'll give her a big sledgehammer.
She's kind of integral to like a lot of the Sonic stories, especially Shadow's story, though.
I'm telling you. Imagine if we could get. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say, I don't know how many people have actually made it to the final story, but she's the whole reason none of them died.
I mean, you're not wrong, but the thing is that this is, as much goodwill as I'm giving it, this is still somewhat a Hollywood piece, and they're going to focus on their main figures, and their main figures are Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Shadow. Amy's a fit.
Actually, there's one character they need to add. They need to add Biggs the Cat and have James Gordon voice him.
No.
Well, see, we're already skipping
Froggy!
We're already skipping Sonic Adventure and going right into Sonic Adventure 2. We've basically skipped we've done 1, we've done 2, we've skipped CD, we've skipped.
They completely
Adventure.
skipped Metal Sonic, which I thought that would have been like I thought that's where they were gonna go because like he had the quill. I thought he's like, oh, I can't beat Sonic, so I'll make my own Sonics. I thought like him making Metal Sonic out of that quill, that's where it was gonna go. But instead, we're just doing Shadow.
But if we get Rouge the Bat, we could also get the robot that will have a team up between Team Sonic and Team Shadow.
Also true. Omega.
I mean, I do like that they kind of did like a Sonic Heroes homage in Sonic 2. That was
yes, they
nice.
did. But I'm just saying, imagine that, but double.
That'd be interesting.
So prepare
Except
for
one
trouble,
side
make
actually
it
uses
double.
guns.
At this point, why don't we just have Mighty the Armadillo show up?
No.
Yeah. A whole smorgasbord of
Oh my god!
characters.
But I think Amy Rose. I think Kristen Ritter is going to be playing either Sally, probably Amy Rose, because she's the more like well-known. Rouge the Bat. I don't know. I think like he's a little bit too sexy for cinema.
Now, the other thing that I will say, going off of your comment, Nick, I think they'll take the quill thing, but make it like that's how like Eggman created Shadow. He's a clone of Sonic.
No, Shadow already exists. Remember, like the teaser, he's basically been in Area 51 for like the last 50 years. Basically, they implied he was on the Roswell crash.
Oh, okay. I must have forgotten about that. They teased him in Sonic 1.
Parrot. No, Sonic 2.
No, but I'm just talking about in Sonic 1 because because it could be that because I don't remember them talking about the alien thing. I could be wrong, but my theory for the longest time.
In Sonic 2, Shadow was the mid-credit scene for Sonic 2.
No, but I must have missed the dialogue that said he was an alien. But my point is, my original theory was Eggman was going to use the quill to create Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow has existed for 50 years.
Okay.
Because like I think there's like a conversation between like the military generals. And it's been a while since I've seen Sonic 2. Where they talk about he's basically been in cryostasis in Area 51 or something. Guys, can you back me up here?
Actually, I will play
I think
the
you're
scene
right
in
on
the
that.
background. I will play the scene in the background, and I will let you know if you're correct. One second.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I'm excited. So
yeah, and then we've also got Sonic and Shadow Generations.
Yep.
Shadow Bros keep winning.
What other? Let's see here. I think Amy Rose probably will appear. If they do Rogue, she'll basically be a rival to Knuckles. Which can I give a shout out to Idris Elba? He was surprisingly good as Knuckles in that movie.
He's confirmed to be coming back.
Like the thing I like about it is he wasn't doing it tongue in cheek. He basically approached the role as a serious role. He did it earnestly, and I really like that.
I mean, honestly, it's just befitting to Knuckles' character because Knuckles is an overly serious and, let's face it, overly gullible character.
He's Batman.
Exactly.
Oh I could.
No, he's Black Superman.
By the way, Nick, I just checked. You are correct, sir.
I mean, I usually am, so.
Well, don't worry, dude. There's always time for. Let me put it this way: even the oldest clocks are right some of the time.
I really hate how they dumb down Knuckles in the more current games and stuff because Knuckles, he's intelligent. He's lived on an island his entire life. Of course, he's going to be a little socially unaware and very gullible. He's not.
Yeah.
Like I said, one of the most serious in terms of nature and one of the most gullible in terms of mindset, just because, again, he's basically lived alone on an island his entire life. He's had literally almost zero social interaction.
All right, real quick, I need to do this to rub it into Jared's face. So I did a poll about like the different like Wonder Bat Super Wonder ships, and obviously the genders won because of course they did. But look who got less votes. So Wonder Bat won.
No, but the problem is, and by the way, Nick, you're behaving like DC does because you're taking a Twitter poll as opposed to what actually sells comics. And Wonder Bat only exists One about only exists because of Bruce Timm, and we all know he's not the best opinion when it comes to ships, judging by the fact that that
the Don has made an appearance. We have been blessed by the Don himself. How you doing, man?
But anyway, as I was saying, one about was started by Bruce Timm, who, by the way, I'm sure his favorite anime would be Student Teacher, and that's a reference for Nix and Nick.
So I'm gonna play a clip from Sonic 3 right now.
I swear that had better happen.
It better.
Oh, you'll be hilarious. Here's another reference to Darth Vader. So like he's in stasis, but they have to give him a breathing mask, but the breathing mask kind of sounds like the Darth Vader breathing. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
So no, Eggman goes to Shadow. You are the chosen one.
You on Earth.
Crush 42 in this movie, or I will riot.
Oh yeah, we need. Rolling around at the speed of sound.
Well, I do hope that these guys give Hayden Christensen proper directing this time, because honestly, a lot of his hookiest lines in Star Wars was due to bad direction.
Yeah,
and bad writing.
Powerful actor.
He had.
I mean, what did Carrie Fisher say to George Lucas? George, you can write this, but you can't say it.
Yeah, but it's
literally, Carrie Fisher said that to him.
Say what you want to say about Ahsoka. Those Anakin Skywalker scenes were actually pretty good. His dialogue in that was pretty good.
Exactly.
What?
Nick, you watched those scenes.
And one of the things I will say that I am worried about with the Hayden Christensen casting decision is you are taking away half of his acting power, because as a villain character, he is at his most impactful when he's just allowed to basically mug the camera.
Yeah, Hayden Christensen is kind of like Keanu Reeves, where like he's really, both of them are really good at emoting, like their facial expressions. Like, dear God, Hayden Christensen can do an evil stare like the best of them.
Oh, absolutely. So
Oh no, Parrothead, what have you done?
Oh no. What did he do? Did he bring up the? Do we have actual photos of Nick as a caveman?
I'm downloading the photos now.
Oh God! Oh no, he's downloading photos from the internet. This won't turn out bad.
No, worse. No, it's even worse. I'm downloading photos that Parrothead sent me. Oh
good God!
Oh no!
Watch, his computer's just gonna crash. We'll just vanish from the stream.
From cringe. From just sheer bloody cringe.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see these.
Parrothead, he is. Oh my God. All right, let me just get these situated. Okay. Parrothead, I hope you are pleased with yourself.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Parrothead, what have you done?
That's so true, though. Oh my gosh!
I can't believe they even like. Have you guys seen the Chip and Dale movie they did?
Yeah, and then they brought in the crappy Sonic.
Yep.
He even
now,
did
like, not
that.
just for like one scene. He's actually in quite a few scenes in the movie.
Did you guys see that? I think it was Warp Zone. They did a video of like basically a skit with Sonic, and it was arguing that the whole release of the first Sonic was actually intentional, so they could drum up interest, and the fans could have the illusion that they actually influenced Hollywood. So they go, release the old Sonic.
Here's the thing: as much as I want to believe of the organic, like they listened, I would not be surprised, honestly. Like, I would not put it past Hollywood to pull a stunt like this. And it paid off, so. So yeah, I think we've kind of like Sonic'd ourselves out. So let's get back to kind of talking about serious, manly topics. These are the most adult topics ever. Like, will there be a video game crash?
Probably.
Is the sun going to rise tomorrow?
So, for those who weren't aware, I say another video game crash. There was one in the States, because everywhere else in the world loves to point out only the U.S. had a crash. I mean, fair enough, but it's still a little pretentious. But so Chris, are you familiar with the video game crash of '83?
Yeah, I lived through it.
All right. As someone who was alive during it and has first-hand account, tell us about it.
Atari turned out a bunch of crap. Nobody bought it. They filled a New Mexican landfill with it. The catalyst was the ET game that was made in less than like a month.
Okay. Yes, but actually no. The thing is, it wasn't just Atari that was making a bunch of crap. It was literally so many other companies, like Rice Checks. You had porn games.
Yes, but they were all on the Atari 2600.
Yes, but not all of them were made by Atari. And then also the other fact is they overproduced. Like Indiana Jones underperformed, and then Pac-Man. They print like so. Pac-Man, with that one, they sold 10 million copies. You know what the problem is? They printed 15 million. So even though Pac-Man was wildly successful, they still had 5 million copies of unsold inventory.
And it was a garbage port.
But yeah,
it was a garbage port. This was even back, like, I can remember distinctly the huge disappointment people had because Atari, and I'm speaking of the platform, not the developer, but Atari in general has cut corners for their games because it's all about speed, getting their crap out as quickly as possible. They flooded the market with garbage, and the port of Pac-Man for the 2600 was god awful. It wasn't even remotely arcade accurate. And like years later, somebody replicated the same technology in about, I think they took, zero profit or whatever, but like did a fan remaster or ROM hack of it and showed just how many corners they cut. I mean, they turned that square into a circle.
I mean, to be fair, one of the things that really benefits the Atari homebrew scene is the creators have access to a lot more memory. Like a lot of these games were done in 4K, 2K, and by K, I mean thousands of kilobytes. This isn't mega. This is kilo.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, one kilobyte was big at the time.
Yeah, even more.
But the games do coincide with the limitations of the hardware because they've
but it's like more access to more space, but also more dev time. Like we like to clown on ET for being terrible as it is. That game was literally made in 6 weeks. It is a miracle it even operates.
Yeah, it had to get out for the holiday season, and they produced a steaming pile of crap. And when word of mouth hit, that game basically began to fill the New Mexican landfill when they couldn't get sales. I mean, people looked at this game and went like, "I don't even know what I'm supposed to do in it."
Yeah. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like if you actually like read the manual and play the game as it is, it's not a terrible game.
I remember I was pretty young at the time, and we ended up getting our copy of it, and I plopped it in, and I'm like, what do I do? I just kept falling.
I didn't even know that exists.
You didn't know this existed, Jared?
I'm not as old as you.
Watch this. He just walks around.
Oh, you mean like a walking simulator?
Man, look at those very
By the way,
realistic graphics.
Those dots are Reese's Pieces.
No, he stretches his neck to float up because E.T. did that in the movie.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
It looks just like E.T. Man, it looks just like the movie.
Oh dear God.
Now, where's the FBI agent that comes in?
Yeah, where's the Area 51 torture scene? Do they have that level?
Watch this Pac-Man port, dude. The guy doesn't even rotate, and that had nothing to do with memory limitations. Like that's giving me a headache just looking at it.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Look at that.
It doesn't even move. It doesn't even look up.
Nope, he doesn't rotate.
Oh, while we're on the Atari 2600, Jared, I have to show you something.
Oh wait, Parrot Head. Chris was around at the same time as the dinosaurs.
You damn right I am.
That's his Nick. Oh, this looks. Oh my god.
This is the thing that exists. This is an actual cartridge you can buy.
You know what they did? In Halo Infinite, if you're exploring the world, you can find a video game machine like with those cabinets, and it's playing this. Oh my gosh, look at the way his legs move. Look at the legs.
It looks like he really has to take a pee.
Yes, it looks like he really has. Oh, wow.
Was this made by like one of the creators of the Xbox after he left? Like it was like something?
Oh my god, I know what this game is. This is just Berserk.
It literally is
the
just
reskin.
Berserk.
Yeah, they reskinned Berserk.
Is so cool. Man.
Is there like a bouncing happy face? Is it like a Covenant? Is it Arbiter that bounces that chases you?
That was more entertaining than the Halo TV show.
I mean, that's a pretty low bar, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
This game was amazing in the arcade. Quarter detected in
I
pocket.
actually played this on Atari back in the 90s.
Yep, this is one of my first games.
Yeah, my grandma actually had an Atari, so I played this. Jared.
Wow, that's cool. That was fun.
I actually kind of want to play this game again because like Jared's right. It actually does look kind of fun.
Yeah, the arcade actually had the whole voice thing, which was freaking insane at the time. But yeah, this was fun as hell back in the day. Because if you linger in a level, this bouncing smiley face comes and chases you.
Oh, yeah,
and it's invincible. You can't kill it. And it moves faster than you. You can't touch the walls either.
I just love the way the legs move.
Yeah. Really got to
That's honestly more fun.
But yeah, let's see here.
That was more entertaining than the King Kong game or Gollum.
This is one game I never got.
Jared.
What's this? Oh my god! Wait, is this Cavill or Reeve?
I think that's Saitama.
Like this.
I don't think Cavill was even born when this came out.
Well, yeah, because what you don't know is that what you're seeing is pasted together in stone tablets from when Nick was a boy.
Yeah, it's still better than Superman 64.
Yeah, still better. Wow.
I mean, hey, at least we're not playing this on a good old-fashioned cassette tape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the cassettes that would take like 45 minutes to load.
Let's boot it up, ladies and gentlemen.
You want to know what game
like stick your video game cassette tape in an actual cassette tape player, and all it does is just scream at you.
Yeah.
So this game was the shiz.
I like the HD remake called Resogun.
This is Defender. This is actually one of my favorite 20th Century games.
Yeah. So Sega actually did a version of this, and they called it Fantasy Zone. And then, yeah, welcome to the Fantasy Zone. And then Sony on their PS4 when they launched, they had a free pack-in game called Resogun, which is like a super HD version of Defender.
Jared.
Oh god.
Oh, good lord.
Oh yeah, where the ATT or AT-ATs look like camels.
Yep.
I would rather watch this than watch the last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, buy some cigarettes.
Yeah.
Dear God. Yeah, I never played this game as a kid. I never had it. But like, isn't this crazy, Jared? But like, okay, that was a fun detour. But I think we can kind of agree that the Video Crash of '83 was, if you distill it down, was bad product being shoved onto the masses and kind of a rejection of it. Would you say so, Chris?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what's happening now.
Yeah, I was about to say, where are we seeing this now?
Yeah, so
dude, we lost 10,000 employees since last year.
Wow. I mean, literally, there was also that what was it? Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League that just came out, and everybody hates it.
Yeah, they want
Not
refunds.
everybody.
Yes, everybody hates
Not
it.
everybody.
Isn't that right, Jared?
Not everybody.
All right, so we got
I'm
we
not
got
just
one
talking
ship.
about me.
All right, so we have our Suicide Squad shill here. Jared, defend your product.
Well, because the first thing is that people are freaking out, even though for years Rocksteady was very clear these deaths aren't permanent. If you really think they're going to kill the Justice League, I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you. They're not going to kill the freaking Justice League. Should they? Was it a mistake for them to save that for post-launch content? Yes, I agree with you. But they were very clear. You know this ain't happening. Even if you look at like the first like trailer, the first roadmap, it shows that they said we're at there's gonna be new boss battles. It's just Brainiacified Superman and Green Lantern. So if they die in the main campaign, how are they coming back for more boss battles? Explain that to me.
The problem with that is it cheapens the death. Like, what's even the point of killing a character if you know you're just gonna be reviving it? You know what I'm saying?
This is DC, dude. That's what they do all the time.
Yeah, remember Superman? He died for a week.
So what's even the point of killing a character, having this great death scene when you know it's just going to be? It makes it meaningless.
No, because
there's a reason why they said the death of Superman broke comics.
Well, the other idea about the game is that it's the idea that what happens if like the greatest heroes, the ones that are supposed to protect us, are the ones trying to destroy us, and you have this supremely underqualified squad. Because let's face it, in a realistic scenario, there's no way the Suicide Squad, particularly that lineup, is taking out the Justice League.
I mean, if you give Deadshot kryptonite bullets, he's gonna kill Superman.
Yeah, but then you got Wonder Woman, the Flash, Green Lantern.
Dude,
I
it's
mean,
all
you can always mail Flash the bullet. So.
Well, it's just, dude, it's just deconstruction as propaganda. It's your heroes are garbage. They're gonna die.
Of the hero's death as almost like a cheap joke, especially when this is Kevin Conroy's last role.
No, it's not. He's gonna be back for Crisis.
Nice. Yeah, for the second movie.
Also, I
No,
love
third.
how like it's like you also notice as like the second this came out, they had all these articles ready. I'll be like, oh, it's not his last role. It's not like as soon as it came out, you saw a flood of these articles.
Yeah, it's apologetic. But my thing is it wasn't the concept I knew right off the bat was not something I enjoyed, but that's not what made me dislike it. Like, whole deconstructionism, like we're literally watching demoralization play out. All of your heroes are bad, and the bad guys are good, and all that crap. But like,
this is
if
why I
you look
can't stand
at
the boys anymore.
Yeah, but if you look at the little vignettes that they've been leaking of the Greta Thunberg Poison Ivy, of the fact that Harley looks at her sexist outfit design from the Arkham games and goes, "Oh," as if like turns her nose up to it, or the fact that like when Lex Luthor makes notes about all of the villain, all of the Justice League, he goes into just basically makes fun of every single one of them. But when he gets to the female Wonder Woman, it's this like, oh, she's actually really good, and the Amazons had a perfect remedy for toxic masculinity. It's like, dude, that has no place in comics. And then they piss on Flash, and they pull
literally piss on.
They strip down Jon Stewart so that it's just in his Green Lantern themed boxers. And yet, when Wonder Woman dies, it's this epic monumental tragedy. Like, because I'm sorry, but
it's a Greek tragedy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you notice how she's the one that doesn't turn? Like, I'm tired of I'm sorry, but like maybe the kids love the stuff, but for me, I miss the day when we had, the strong male hero. And we're not seeing that anymore. It's now all girl boss. And I'm tired of it. Look at Harley. Why is she the leader?
Because she's Harley Quinn and she's the most popular character.
Yeah, I will say this, though. What I fundamentally disagree with is that there's a narrative on Twitter. I mean, I even have some people in my chat that say, I hope this game crashes and burns. Now, Chris, back me up on this, but when a game crashes and burns, this is particularly coming from people that are constantly going on Twitter like, oh my gosh, these poor, like in the trenches developers, they're being exploited. Here's the thing. When games fail, who inevitably is the target of like layoffs and who bears the brunt of it?
I'm
Dude,
sorry.
I got into
that is like weaponized sympathy, and I'm
no,
sorry.
No, I want to get into that because I got into a big or I should say a little spat on Twitter about this. Some asshole was telling me, "Oh yeah, you just because you made a few indie games, you're not a real developer." So I just sent them a couple of trailers that from games that I worked on. And I'm like, dude, you're really bad at this. But like, yeah, Jared, you make a really good point. The people who get screwed are not the decision makers. The fact they made Greta Thunberg in this, the fact that they have the girl boss Marxist garbage, that's not the animator. That's not the artist. That's not the engineer. Those are the leads, the producers, the people at the decision making echelons. That they're the ones that sail on golden parachutes to other companies to parasitize on. Well, the people who actually made these products that were following orders, they're the ones that end up unemployed.
See,
and I can speak from experience.
I have a problem with that line of logic. While you're not wrong, this line of logic, it does not help the frontline workers. It doesn't help them. In fact, it perpetuates all the bad stuff. It like this line of logic is weaponized sympathy to help those golden parachute people.
I'm not seeing it as sympathy.
Nick,
no, I'm not seeing it as sympathy. I'm saying it as directed at these assholes that are making these shit decisions that are ruining these products. And like, if you look at Japan, for example, the Japanese game developer, like when Nintendo dropped the ball with their awful Wii U marketing, they didn't fire the people that worked on the Wii U. They fired the decision makers, and they made the ones that didn't get fired take huge pay cuts.
To be fair, that was Iwata's decision to do like the 50% pay cut. Like that was more just his decision. I mean, he's a good guy, great guy for doing it. But like that wasn't just like, oh, well, we all decided. That was like a top-down decision.
Yeah, but Nick,
rest in peace, Iwata, you were your one.
What I'm saying is that either way, the executives are not being touched. It's just one way. The people that get really screwed are the people that aren't necessarily making those decisions. They're just saying, "Draw this." Okay,
I get it, and I empathize with it. It's just too many times I've seen that argument as a shield against criticism. Like you're not allowed to criticize these games because what about the poor workers that made it? They didn't have a choice. Like, okay,
no, dude,
yeah. But it's still.
I'm not.
Let me tell you a story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So when I worked on Defiance, okay, I worked with some of the most talented freaking people in the industry. Okay, these were some really skilled people. Sure, there were a bunch of douchebags in there that weren't worth their paychecks, and they were in higher positions. But I'm down in the trenches working with some amazing freaking talented people that I didn't even get along with. So that tells you right there that I have respect for their craft. We're in a conference room watching Angry Joe destroy our game, okay?
Ooh,
absolutely obliterated.
I watched it. It was kind of funny, Chris. After you told that story the first time, I went and I watched that exact same Angry Joe video.
Yeah, the part where the car's parked outside the Taco Bell. Yeah, like so all of the people that were in the trenches are all standing along the back wall, myself included, people that were in a 9 month plus crunch, busting their ass. These are people who've sacrificed their health, their marriage, family, and all sorts of things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all like, no shit, Joe. This is what we've been saying for the last like 9 months or whatever. All of the decision makers are like upset and flustered at Joe. And it's like, are you like, I want to drop F-bombs, but I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we're going to be out of work. Okay, sugar frack. We're all going to be out of work. I had this argument with my boss when I would be pushing things. I'm like, dude, this isn't going to sell. This is like, I can tell you right now, this is not going to work. This is not going to, well, we should just ride it out. And when a game comes out, I'm like, yeah. And when the game comes out,
BioWare magic, everybody. BioWare magic.
Yeah, we're all going to be out of a job. And what happened? Suddenly Fiscadamus became the prophet, foretold this, and every one of us lost our jobs. The company folded, and the scary part is this was not the first time. It happened with Defiance, happened with Firefall, it happened with all these games. The problem is we need to, like you're saying, weaponize sympathy. No, I think it should be directed at decision makers. We should be naming
I'm not disagreeing with you in the slightest.
Yeah, name these leads. Call out these leads because it's not just making crappy products. There is sympathy there because dude, 10,000 people have lost their job. Those are 10,000 Americans. That's our
I just don't know
economy
how to go
taking
about
a
it
dump.
because these people, they take any amount of criticism and they play, I'm being harassed. I'm being toxic.
Druckmann
of course, that's gonna happen. But Nick, it's like essentially if you're taking down a target, like if you're shooting a target at a range and you want to hit a specific point on that target, are you gonna fire a shotgun and destroy everything, or you're gonna use a more precise weapon? Yeah, they're gonna play a victim, but that's better than.
Let me just put this filler out.
Wait, Nick, let me finish.
Okay.
It's better than they're gonna play victim, but that's better than people that likely didn't have anything to do with these decisions losing their jobs and being off the streets.
As I've said from the beginning, I sympathize with it. I empathize with it. It's just you can't criticize the game without people bringing it up, and it feels like some people use that as kind of like a deflection.
Some do, and they're wrong. You can respectfully criticize the game. It's just I have the same problem.
I've agreed with everything you said. Like the stuff regarding the people, I've agreed with everything.
I have the exact same problem with people that are like, I hope this movie bombs. I hope this fails. Because guess what? It's not gonna lead to the decision makers getting fired or not getting jobs. It's gonna lead to the individual people in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because
it's real scary when you're homeless and you're seeing these douchebags sailing on golden parachutes to their next company, and you're like, wow, I'm dodging cops at night in a parking lot because I got laid off. And it wasn't like you get fired for gross incompetence or something. Like at that point, that's not resentment. That's dude, you screwed up. You sugar fracked up.
You got laid off because they need to make their quarterly earnings. The only way they do that is cut half the staff so they can get their bonus.
Look at Blizzard, dude. Some of the most talented. Like honestly,
they just gutted Blizzard. They
just obliterated that company. And these are some of the most talented artists in the industry. And my timeline on Twitter was horrifying. Mm-hmm. It was just constant, designers, artists, dude, they just canceled a project and laid off 1,800 people.
Yeah.
What were they working on? Like a stealth game or something?
Odyssey was basically Pal World.
Oh.
Yeah.
Imagine Pal World, but with the Blizzard quality.
That's
because the thing is, WoW has Pokemon in it. Like the whole pet system is actually that's kind of the thing is the pet system in WoW is kind of a game in and of itself, and it's actually really good. Imagine if they had done that as Pal World style. Dear God.
It literally would have been a license to print money, and Pal World is the shining example of that. They've actually outsold Pokemon.
Imagine if they had imagine if they did Pal World set in Azeroth, but you're doing the pets, and it's you see HDified versions of certain zones, and it's the survival thing. Oh dear God!
And they 1,800 people. Same thing with Riot. Riot lost. It was either I think it was 500. It could be more. I think it was 10% of their company.
500, I believe, was the number.
Yeah, and these are I hate to say it, but as somebody that worked in that industry, Riot and Blizzard were the top two as far as your artists and your production quality. Those were the companies that everybody wanted to get into.
Have you seen those trailers they put out? My God.
Now it's dead.
Being a former Blizzard dev is kind of basically your ticket into any company.
Not anymore.
Let's say you worked at Blizzard for 5 years or something. Basically, any other company would be tripping to hire you.
Yeah. But my overall point is, yes, you can, and this is not directed to anyone. It's just to Twitter in general. You can disagree with story decisions or overall if this game exists, because there is a group that criticized the game before it even came out just because it wasn't another Arkham game. But my point is, don't screw over everyone because of a decision by a few.
Here's the flip side.
Wait.
These companies.
Wait. Particularly if you're going to constantly tweet out, I feel so sorry for all these game devs with all the crunch and everything like that. I'm like, no, sorry, you have no right to tweet that.
Well, here's my retort to that. These game devs are not owed my money. Like they are not entitled to my 60, 70, 80, whatever the frick they want to charge. They are not entitled to it. And as consumers, one of the very few ways we have to enact change is by voting with our wallet. Okay, and it's like we hate pre-orders, but people seem to keep pre-ordering. So what are these companies going to do? They're still going to pre-order. Like these games release broken, and then they shatter sales records. You know, as long as we keep perpetuating these bad habits, these companies have no reason not to change. I guarantee you. Well, if everybody stopped pre-ordering, if everybody stopped supporting these games that release broken, the industry would change in a second.
And you know how you can enact that too? Social pressure, shame people.
And
you bought a product sight unseen?
Well, here's the other thing that is because I did want to touch on this because this is also contributing to a possible game crash that we're heading towards.
Yeah,
I don't think it's possible at this point.
I mean, true, but still, number one, it's also dependent upon who the video games are made for. Mm-hmm. Because if you watch the language from the bean pushers, from the leads, from the heads of these companies, what do you hear? Who are they making these games for?
They're not making it for core gamers anymore.
Nope.
And the thing is, gamers. They say consumers.
Yep.
And here's a problem I see is games are becoming too homogenous. Like for example, Suicide Squad looks like 5 different other games.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It could be a Call of Duty mode. Like if you literally said, "Oh, we're doing a new campaign of Call of Duty where like all the operators are Suicide Squad members and they're trying to kill Justice League," I would believe you. You know, if you like a collab event or something.
Well, this is because the industry is experiencing creative stagnation because it's now a publicly traded they're publicly traded publishers and developers, so they have to meet their shareholders' expectations, which means there's no more R&D, there's no more risks. Everything like back in the day, what made the industry what it is was PC gamers, and it sounds really weird coming from somebody that's like enjoyed both consoles and PC games, but I can tell you right now that in the late 90s, early 2000s, before Microsoft destroyed everything with their shitty Xbox, where they basically said, we're going to now incentivize PC game developers to make PC games for our direct Xbox home console. What they did was they completely removed player agency, customer agency, and free community created R&D, aka mods. That, like, I can tell you right now, the early 2000s, the late to mid to late 2000s, early 2010s, what made the industry super huge was that all the games that had come out that were released were actually based on game mods. You had Dota, you had Call of Duty, you had Counter-Strike.
You go back farther than that. Like how many games nowadays are actually based off of engines that derive themselves from id? Like Call of Duty uses a modified Quake engine, like heavily modified. Mm-hmm. Like I'm trying to think, like Valve, the Source engine is the Quake 2 engine. I think John Carmack once commented he could still see Quake 2 code in the Source engine.
But there's no like all of these games are now funneled through a corporate like boardroom rather than the creative, and it sounds so stupid and hokey, but I can tell you the creative aspect of video games, like this is why we see stuff like Pal World making bank. Pal World wasn't like this Japanese company is like a handful of dudes just throwing crap out of their garage. Okay. They're not the big corporate suits room that like Square Enix or Nintendo or any of these other companies or Game Freak, which made Pokemon. Like these indies are now have access to tools that, you know, couple of console generations ago, 20 years ago, like they wouldn't be able to do. They'd have to modify existing games. And it was a lot easier actually to modify a lot of these games especially the Quake engine or the Unreal engine. And now that we're actually, given the ability to build these, these creative or these kind of risky indie games, the problem is they get extremely litigious. Where there's already, like, it blew my mind how quickly people jumped on the Nintendo was going to sue.
Well, that's just sour grapes. That's just sour grapes.
But it turned into this like I read more than just like the people that are like marks, like, the Pokemon marks. They're literally like, how do we fix this? How do we destroy this company?
Yeah, check this out. This is the family tree of like the Quake engine. Just look at like how much stuff kind of like evolved from it. Medal of Honor, Jedi Academy, literally got Call of Duty right here. Like, seriously, like Source Forge. Yeah.
And the other thing that I wanted to bring up now is that even the quote unquote good AAA companies that we've had in recent years are starting to go sour.
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
That was actually what I was about to bring up. They're going to re-release. I'm not sure if it's the original Witcher or if it was Witcher 3.
They announced the Witcher 1 remake like a year.
And they're going to take out problematic or outdated things.
Well, I guarantee you what they're talking about is the sex cards.
Yep. Well, of course. But
and they're probably going to
by that phrase alone, we honestly don't know how far or how deep they're going to go in changing.
Well, I guarantee you they're changing the combat because, like, have you tried to play The Witcher 1?
Oh yeah, it's garbage.
It's borderline unplayable, but still,
it's a rhythm game. It's like a rhythm thing. We gotta click in a certain rhythm.
Yeah, it's all mouse centric.
Yeah. Basically what they're gonna do is they're gonna take the Witcher 3 combat, put it into Witcher 1, which I don't think anyone would argue against that change.
No, that sounds like a good idea.
They're probably gonna get rid of the sex cards,
which sucks. They might rewrite the story too and make.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Losing the sex cards is not that big of a deal for me.
Is what Chris is talking about. Is like a full-on rewrite of the story to take out what would be considered for quote unquote modern day audiences problematic. Which is
I don't know. Like CD Projekt Red has handled stuff a lot better. Like since they're in Poland, Poland is a pretty base country.
My thing is once they said that, once I hear the sex cards are out, I'm done. And it's not that I'm married to these sex cards or I'm some freaking perv that likes to jump all over.
It starts at a small thing and then it escalates.
Exactly. It's a death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah. And I'm sorry.
You allow them to do it once, they will start changing more. It doesn't matter what the company is.
Yep.
First they came for Alex, and then I said nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why I'm like the only other thing that bothers me more than this whole like Marxist revisionism of all the narratives and all this crap that's completely turned off a lot of us old timers is the games as a service and live services crap. That needs to go too, because I'm done with like the thing that Pal World has done that nobody really talks about is the fact that you bought a single product. There's no nickel and diming. There's no microtransactions. There's no recurring fees. You're literally
I feel like we're kind of starting to like lean back towards it. Like we're starting to see like Hogwarts Legacy, Jedi Survivor, even Fallen Order before that. Like, remember how EA was so dead set on like live services, and then like Battlefront 3, like Fallen Order was their apology game for Battlefront 2. We both know that. And then Fallen Order does well, and then all the Sony games. They're single player.
If that's a bridge to, if it's a dollar late or a dollar short and a day late, because all the goodwill has already been spent and eaten up. Everybody's fed up, and the only ones really sticking around are the ones who were just around to. And I hate using this quote because it's overused, but just just consume product and be excited for next product.
I mean, that's what they want. That's what they clearly want.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the GDC? Oh, sorry.
The what?
There was a GDC panel, and I remember how disgusted it made me feel as a game developer, where this German guy or Swiss, I can't remember. He's some Eastern European or something. Goes on this big speech, and his keynote was entitled "Turning Players into Payers." And they actually had at one point where they were discussing that ways to. So gone are the days of the arcade where every time a player dies, they pop in another quarter. So the revenue is continually generated. The home markets cannot complete or cannot compete against the arcades because they have a one and done sales business model. We need to figure a way so that when players die, they can keep popping in more money. And it's like, no, that's not going to work for your player. Like, I'm sorry, but if I'm playing a video game and also it says game over, continue, and I have to put money in or my credit card, I'm out.
Well, I think Herman has the right idea here. Well, you can always give up video games from some Iron Age books. Hell yeah. In fact, I'll be joining the Iron Age books here this summer when I release Lost Kingdom, so keep a track on that. And if you've made it this far, we're an hour in. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with everyone, share it with your dog.
But I will bring up, by the way, I just saw this. According to Master of the TDS, referring to the Avatar makers, they basically removed the entire story about Kyoshi Island, from what I've been told.
Wait, if they remove the story, but look at all the trailers, they're clearly on Kyoshi Island. And what they show them going to Kyoshi Island. If they remove the story, then why are they focused so heavily on Kyoshi Island? Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And then he ends it with, now we know why the showrunners left the adaptation.
Like they literally show the Kyoshi warriors practicing. They literally show Zuko's people attacking Kyoshi Island. Like, I just, my mind is trying to comprehend right now. I don't know.
But I think one of the other solutions is things that, Chris and I have been talking a lot about, which is a lot of people are turning to emulation and, do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
You are a pirate.
Grabbing up all of the old games and exploring what was.
Mm-hmm.
Because
sorry, you're giving me an excuse to flex.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're going to start cracking down on that. We are going to see as this corner. Well, I don't want to use the term corner. As this industry faces its demise, it's going to desperately claw at whatever it perceives as its every last penny, and we're going to start seeing major crackdowns.
Well, the problem is with a lot of the emulation handhelds, they come from China, and so short of an import ban, which I don't think they can, they'll try to go that far, but
they will.
I don't know.
I guarantee you there is going to be a raid on Amazon very soon about cracking down on pirate Chinese products. Then we're going to see Etsy get attacked for all of its pirated DVDs and Blu-rays. And then we're going to see ROMs and emulations and stuff. And if you haven't noticed, there's actually a push in the United States government to turn American internet into the CCP internet, where they're going to place government. I believe they already have in many regards government control over your internet access. So they actually know, even if you're using a VPN, they know it's you.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's scary stuff.
The NSA knows how many notes errors I have, so add it to the list of. I'm sorry, but I know you're doing the scare, typical scare tactics, but
I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. I'm literally
I believe you, but the problem is, it's the NSA knows how many nose hairs I have. Shigeru Core Cabal number 3 knows how big my butthole is. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they start cracking down on content piracy in general. We start seeing a lot of these sites being taken down.
Yep. Well, no, they're going to enact something called Real ID for the internet, where internet anonymity is their goal to be. They're trying to remove that.
Okay.
Just like in China.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because the problem is there's too many other competing interests. For example, they're not going to raid Amazon. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest people in the world, and Amazon is literally becoming one of the biggest employers in the U.S. I don't think they're going to want to piss off Bezos.
Do you know
that's my counterpoint, because
do you know
Bezos
what a DPL
has
is?
So much money. What?
Do you know what a DPL is?
What's that?
A denied party list. At the moment China starts a war with Taiwan, which they will be doing very soon, and they get America involved, China is already going to be put on a DPL. That means all imports and vendors from China are gone. Amazon's major contributors will be removed. That is, I understand its wealth and everything from Bezos, but Bezos has other interests in mind as well. And those include the fact that our government and corporations are married. So he has other kind of, we're watching a shell game, essentially, of finances.
Yeah, I mean, like, the fulfillment stuff is not just, like, also, like, their web hosting stuff is probably even more of a bigger part of their business than their shipping
AWS.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazon Web Services. Yeah, they own the internet.
Yeah, Twitter runs on AWS.
Yep.
Like, that was a big reason why Parler wasn't able to get off the ground. It's because they were on AWS, and then they got booted off, and no one else would host them. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at who controls everything, the group becomes smaller and smaller. And AWS and Microsoft Azure pretty much host every website. So if one of those guys decides to go down or do something, how much of the internet's going to go with it? Yeah.
I mean, I never doubt, like, human ingenuity. Like, look at some of the stuff in Cuba. Like, if you look at people, they've got ad hoc internet. Like, there's like a whole, like, there's people playing World of Warcraft with just like with rabbit ears antennas because they're just running like an ad hoc private server, and it's just like that neighborhood, and they're just like, little using trash cans as dishes. Like, I have a lot of respect for Cuban people and the ingenuity they do with their stuff.
There will always be room for creativity and ingenuity, especially when vacuums are created. I think we're just going to see a big panic from the customer's end once we see all of these quote unquote storefronts. They're really just archives. Once they just start vanishing because the video game industry, the entire giant industry, views these little archivist sites as their existential threat that they need to eliminate in order to save their profit margins.
Yep.
Yeah.
And well, we're going to see probably either this year or next year, GameStop is going to go under. Like, that store will no longer exist.
I went to GameStop just the other week to get kind of a replacement.
It's like 90% crappy merchandise. Like,
90%
T-shirts, statues, and all that stuff.
Yep.
Like, it's some cool stuff here and there. Like, if I wanted to buy a figurine, I might go to GameStop or something. But like the game stuff.
What I always said, what GameStop should have done is that when digital gaming became a thing, what they should have done is pivoted so like they sell statues and all that stuff, and then you can get the collector's editions at GameStop, because that way you're offering something that I can't just buy with a click on my Xbox.
I also would have gone the internet cafe route. I would have converted it from brick and mortar business that's retail, and I would have went cafe, because that's what they do in China. That's where they get all their money, is they literally have like 2 or 3 table rows of computers, and they just lease time, and they make more money that way.
I mean, that's basically, I mean, the video game industry is very clearly heading for a consolidation. I think PC will be the VCR of the game industry within the next 5 years.
And that is why I'm a console gamer.
No, consoles are going to go away. Like, as soon as Valve perfects, like, if they can take what they did with the Steam Deck, which they basically consoleized the PC into a handheld and did it beautifully, if they can translate that to like a console format, they could kill it. Like, they could kill Xbox, right? Like, because Xbox wants to get out of like basically just do it like a box. Or honestly, I could see Microsoft teaming up with Valve to release a Microsoft Steam box or whatever, and it's just like it runs game, because Microsoft clearly just wants to sell Game Pass to everybody. So imagine a Steam machine that can run Game Pass, but it's like a PC.
Oh,
so Microsoft doesn't even need to manufacture a console.
Funny you should mention that. They shut down their consoles. Their entire division is gone. So
the physical games division, not yes. I don't think the console division.
No, that'll go next. They've already admitted that they quote unquote lost this console generation or whatever.
They didn't even try.
No, well, they didn't try because they're grossly incompetent. They didn't know what to try. Like, they hired a bunch of bean counters instead of game developers.
Well,
they like bought up studios and fired everybody.
It would have helped if they had been able to release Halo when the Xbox Series X launched.
Yep. Well, that's the problem is if you actually had people who knew what the frick they were doing, you would have had Halo Infinite already like focus tested, already been in beta and whatever before they even announced their console. Because people don't buy consoles, they buy titles.
Well, look at what happened when Halo first launched. And by first launch, I mean originally first launched.
Yep.
People were buying Xbox just to play Halo.
Yep. They did the same thing with Super Mario Brothers in the NES.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's called the killer app. That's how you sell a console. You say this is exclusively to this.
Like for example, I imagine like they released Spider-Man 2 at the perfect time once PS5 started to become more available, and then they released Spider-Man 2. Like those are killer apps.
Although
also, hey Chris, did you hear the rumors that Sony's maybe developing a new handheld?
Oh yeah. The sad thing is as much as we joke about Nintendo being in a microcosm, Nintendo leads the way on a lot of these innovations. The Switch, for example, it was oddly prescient because I had spoken to my sister and a couple of her friends, and they were like complaining because they had 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids, and they're like, I really wish there would be something where he could just take his Game Boy or his 3DS or whatever and just plug it into the TV when he gets home.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And
it's like, it used to be like back in my day, there were options. Like remember the Super Game Boy or the Game Boy player?
Yep.
That those used to be a thing. But like after a certain point, it stopped being a thing. Because like you could take your Game Boy cartridge, plug it into your GameCube, play it on your TV.
Yep. You know? Yep. And now what we're seeing is it's kind of like we're no longer watching innovation. What we're seeing is a bunch of catch up. Like I'm sorry, but Sony is a doomed company. Like they're spending all of this money on products that sure they're selling, but they're not selling as well as they used to. And in capitalism, it's about growth, and they're not growing. They sold to America and lost their growth.
Like, I'm actually really excited to see what happens in the PC handheld space, because that is a segment that is going to stick around. Because the Steam Deck proved it's viable, and then like you have like their ROG Ally, like all these companies are releasing it, and they're actually selling pretty well. Like the ROG Ally is doing pretty good. They got but the problem is they're all in like the $600 plus category. You don't really like Steam kind of has a monopoly on the $300, $400, $500 category. You know.
Well, I foresee in like my kind of futurist theory would be that in the future your mobile gaming device can be split apart and it can make phone calls. And essentially we will no longer have the iPhone as we know it. It'll now be a combination Steam Deck with a piece that you can remove and talk on it, like, or, tap on the touchscreen or whatever, like you're doing with your phone. But when you put the two together, you've got yourself a gaming, like a beefier Steam Deck.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I wanted to point out was a lot of these companies have stopped treating console sales as a creative endeavor. They don't approach the sales of a console from its creative end.
Wait, I have to do this.
From its tech end.
You guys not have flip phones?
No, well, here's the thing.
Yeah, you're right, man.
What Nick remembers is the Flip Rock.
Oh, no.
I'm going to flip you off.
But I mean, here's a lot of the talk that I hear from, because, I keep in touch with both ends of the gaming spectrum. The creatives like Chris are saying, look, we need to have the killer app. We need to have the good game that drags all the attention. We need to have the next quote unquote Pal World, essentially. A lot of the tech heads say, oh, your game console plays 4K. Those are rookie numbers. We got to pump that up. And
yeah,
the thing
I mean, 4K is getting more common, but 4K is not universally adopted yet. Like,
who cares about 4K?
These aren't true 4K. And I
mean, even the PC gaming space, 1440p is as close to a standard resolution as you can get in the PC gaming space.
But who cares about 4K and resolution and all that stuff if all the games are garbage?
Yeah.
Like, make the games fun. That's why Nintendo was kicking ass with their Switch, is because it was an underpowered piece of crap NVIDIA Shield that had some amazing games on it.
Exactly.
Like the tech is fine. Like look at Unreal Engine 5. You can do photorealism stuff and make stuff look amazing. Like the tech is so good that a company like Pal World can just throw some assets together and the game looks kind of decent. You know, the tech is fine. Like the tech is fine. We need innovation. I'm kind of with Chris on this. We need innovations from the gameplay side because I'm like, if you look at the gaming space, even the indie space is kind of starting to stagnate a little bit.
Yeah. How do you like your Metroidvanias?
or like, oh, here's Cozy Farming Simulator number 5. Like the indie scene is kind of starting to devolve into like the kind of trend chasing that you see everywhere else.
Well, the last new genre is almost 20 years old and it required plastic toy instruments.
Like we like lasted that.
Like cozy gaming, I thought I firmly believe cozy gaming was a very great like introduction into the space, as kind of like a gender neutral game genre. Like, but I mean, kind of like basically you had the girl game reinvented as cozy game, and that was like I think that was a great thing for the industry because it kind of took out some of the stigma. But the problem is cozy games have really stagnated in like the last 3 years.
Well, that's
It's just one of those things where now this is my personal argument, so I might be wrong on this, but it's just what I personally believe. The internet has been humanity's ultimate Faustian bargain in that we've got infinite knowledge at the tip of our fingers, and yet because of our sheer access to it, we've essentially conglomerated our psyches together, and we watch it. We're literally watching everything that we create basically become this big ball of mush.
I mean, like, for every time that we criticize a 12-year-old for saying something stupid on the internet, we all said the same stupid stuff when we were 12-year-olds. The only difference is we didn't have a cell phone pointed in our face.
Exactly.
Like, I guarantee you, each and every one of you, when we were 12 years old, we said some stupid crap.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's.
I mean, Jared's 11 years old, so he still needs to get there. But yeah.
Damn. Oh, trust me, Nick. I'm well aware with your capacity to say stupid stuff.
Fair, but what I mean is like, you know, like we criticize like 12-year-old, 14-year-olds like on Twitter who like they say really really stupid stuff, but we ourselves we were probably even stupider then. You know.
Yeah. You made me just think of something. Is there a Pal World Twitter account or social media presence?
I believe so.
I don't think so.
I believe there is already.
Yeah, like did you see the pictures? Like the Pal World devs are actually already developing a card game.
Nice.
Yeah, Pal World.
I hope that comes out.
Pal World updates. There are already Twitter things for that.
Are those officially from the company or?
Yes.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I've noticed that a lot of the negative energy that surrounds a lot of these games is because big mouth morons at these companies that are part of like the marketing push, like had we not known anything about Avatar: The Last Airbenders or whatever, Legend of Aang or whatever the hell it's called now, like all the stupid shit they're going to do to ruin it, do you think we would have had the same experience if we had just watched this with no like feedback loop of anger?
Here's a dirty little secret that none of you guys are willing to admit. Outrage gets clicks. Like I guarantee you, the reason why
is powerful.
The reason why these articles are dropping is because they want to piss people off. The reason why the reason why they leaked the you notice how they dropped the Batman clip right before the game was supposed to go live? They wanted us to talk about it, and we all fell for it. I did, Jared did, Chris did, all of us. We are all guilty of playing to their strings. Okay. I am guilty, all right? I'm calling myself out here, all right? They want us to get angry. They want us to get mad. You know, this playbook is as old as time. I've been calling this out for 10 years.
But it's played its course, and it's no longer anger anymore. Like whether or not I fell for it is irrelevant because I've moved on. I don't care. Apathy. I'm not going to buy this garbage game. I don't give a shit. You got Harley Quinn in this. She's so overplayed.
That is the ultimate end point of all this stuff.
Yeah.
The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy, like you said. And that's kind of what we're starting to see here. Like, I don't think we're fully in the apathy stage yet, but we're kind of starting to get there. Like, you're having people, Otis, don't hate watch. Like, this is a no hate
you're
watching
still feeding
stream.
the machine.
I mean, if people want to hate watch me, please go ahead. Hate watch me all you want. But
I've legitimately had friends. I've legitimately
the
had
sky is
friends
blue.
Sorry, you were saying.
Go ahead, Sharon.
So I've legitimately had friends who, their friends would be like, "Oh, hey, have you seen, new thing?" The typical let's consume the new thing. And I'm like, man, why would I even bother? It's gonna waste my time. I'm gonna get upset, and I'm just not even gonna bother. I would much rather spend my time going outside, touching grass, than having this company waste my money, waste my time, and waste my emotional labor.
You bring up a really good point, because I think what we're seeing now is the backlash to the hipster movement from like almost 20 years ago, where
the hipsters were pretty prominent in 2010s.
Well, the hipsters are the douchebags who are like, "Oh, I'm the first. I saw this before it was cool," or I'm the first, and I knew this, and blah blah blah. And now we're seeing such a bitterness of all the shit that we've been shoveled, that we're more like you said, Cheryl, like, I'm just gonna hold off, and like I don't care if I'm not the first or the last. I just don't care anymore. And if I see like months or years later after it comes out, a movie, TV show, a game, or whatever, and it's still got something that sounds appealing, or the wave of hype has washed over, and now I'm hearing honest reviews, and it still sounds positive, then I might adopt it. And that's why this industry's in trouble.
I mean, like when Spider-Man 2 came out, I think Jerry can attest to this part, where I said, I can't wait to play it in 3 years.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, I'm going to wait till it comes on PC. It's probably going to hit Epic first. So like so a year from that. And then when it hits Steam, I'm going to wait for it to, to go on sale. That's what I did this with Spider-Man. I waited a year for it to hit Steam. And then I got it for $30 on a sale, like a year or so later, I'm currently waiting for Final Fantasy VII Remake to hit a good price, and I'm going to buy that. I bought Cyberpunk for $30. I mean, I paid full price for Phantom Liberty, but at the same time, that's fine.
Yeah, well, this trend is not only extended towards video games. It's also comic books, movies, TV shows.
Yep.
Everybody is so tired of having to be the first one. Essentially, everybody's tired of novelty.
Yeah.
Everybody is tired of novelty. They're tired of being the first one. They're tired of having to risk it for the biscuit. So they're going to wait. They're going to let reviews come out. They're going to let, some information percolate out. And then when it comes to a good time, and like Chris said, maybe in a couple of years when they're reminded that this exists and there's still something good about it, that's when they're going to go in, because they don't care anymore.
Yeah, like why would I buy a game at launch that's buggy, clearly is unfinished? It's going to take 6 months for all the content to be patched in. I'll wait 2 years for the definitive edition to hit PC, where all the DLC is there, all the PC patches, and it's literally in the best state possible, and I'll buy it for $10.
Dude, I bought on Steam MK11 with all of the DLC packs, all of the costumes, all of the, the FOMO crap that they pushed, everything, all packaged for $5 on Steam.
Yeah. Like for example, I literally bought Ori and the Blind Forest, and then Ori Will of the Wisp for $15 for both of them, literally a few days ago.
Dude, those are some of the most beautiful games I've ever played. I
played Blind Forest on Switch. And it was beautiful. And if it was that beautiful on Switch, I can't wait to play it on my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now here's another good example for you. Tales of Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia originally came out for the Xbox 360 and the Xbox 360 only. They had a whole bunch of DLC. I'd say probably about a good $40-$50 of DLC. And they had a Japan exclusive event that you could not play, and a Japan exclusive character that you could not play. I waited, I'd almost say about 10 to 15 years. It came out on Switch for the definitive edition, all DLC, all the Japan exclusive content, and some, gameplay and graphical tweaks, all for like $40 or $50.
Or Final Fantasy 15. You know, like when that game came out, it was kind of a broken mess. Literally, the best way to play it now is the Windows edition.
Mm-hmm.
Or Persona 5. Like that came out, like you can buy it for PS3, you know, but like now you can get the Royal Edition on like every console, and it's literally the best version.
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder that FOMO, which was the marketing tool, fear of missing out, I think that it's overextended its welcome, and like all marketing trends, it eventually dives. And what's scary is the video game industry, the movie industry, the streaming services are all based on FOMO. Oh, you're not, everybody else is talking about it. Don't miss out. Go see this movie. And it's like, I don't care.
And they don't know what to do.
Yeah,
that's what the MCU. That's what that's partly what made the MCU so big, is because people are like, I got to see the next movie so I can see if it sets up the next one. Yep. Then you get to like phase 4, and it's like nothing is connected or anything like that, and that's why you're seeing. That's why, in addition to just crappy quality, that's why you also have people saying, "Why should I care about this?" Or like when James Gunn, like an idiot, came out and said, "Oh yeah, I'm rebooting, so none of the upcoming DC movies matter." So no one showed up for them.
See, the problem is audiences are completely turned off by fake hype. Okay, it does not affect them anymore.
Yep.
But when you actually make a good movie that people want to see, people are still willing to get hype for. Like, there's actually legit hype for Deadpool 3. Or, you know?
Yes, there is.
The Dune movie.
There is.
Like Dune 2.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. There's hype for that.
Yeah.
You know, like Barbenheimer. Like, Barbenheimer's such an anomaly. Like, they can't wrap their head around it. Part of it is it was a lightning in the bottle situation, but also it was like 2 good movies that the internet made a meme, and the marketing people embraced it, and it was kind of like a back and forth communication.
It is kind of funny though that became an internet theme to go see movies that are the complete opposite of each other.
Yeah, have absolutely nothing in common.
You could not have picked 2 movies that are.
That was kind of the whole appeal, but also it was 2 opposite studios that they both embraced it. They were both promoting each other. It was kind of like a hey. Like, oh, your girlfriend can go see Barbie, and then you can go see Oppenheimer. It's like there's so many like memes. Like the cast were promoting it. Like both sides were, or like you had 2 studios working together. It's like the whole like Doom Isabella thing that happened. Like you remember that when Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal came out on the same day, and like all the Doom. I'm sorry, that's like my favorite meme ever.
Yeah, Isabella in a Doom guy suit.
Just
ripping hair.
And like the memes and just was just so good.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why we're seeing like we're talking about a potential or a possible crash.
Nick, your camera's on.
Well, we're talking about a potential crash. I don't think it's potential. I think we are experiencing the crash right now. Okay, 10,000 jobs gone.
All right. Palette cleanser time. I have to play this.
Yes, Doom Crossing.
Well, be careful with this, Nick.
Yeah, copyright.
They could take down the entire stream, Nick. Yeah, you can't go over 10 seconds on a clip, Nick.
All right. Why do you have
to love how YouTube ruined everything?
Yeah, I know they ruin all the fun, but I'm sorry. Unfortunately, if you're having fun, they could nuke your entire channel.
Fun police, fun police.
Yep.
Also, Sharon, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
Yeah, of course. I'll catch up later.
But yeah, like to talk about Pal World. I mean, we did a whole stream about it last week. Keely, I agree with you, but I'm not going to highlight that comment for obvious reasons.
We're all in silent agreement.
I'm going to tell you this. Yes, Keely. I'm going to say this. Wait. I'm going to say this to quote Knuckles. DC's the way.
DC's the way. But yeah, like the thing with Pal World is I think it kind of tapped into. There's obviously a lot of people who love Pokemon and they want better Pokemon experiences. I think it kind of tapped into that, you know.
Well, I like the fact that it's not like everybody's all flipping out about they ripped off Pokemon. Dude, the UI is literally Breath of the Wild. The climb anywhere is Breath of the Wild. They literally have a hang glider that looks exactly like Link's glider from Breath of the Wild.
I mean, there's silly basically this game is like a soup of like so many different elements. But it's like it's one of those things where it's like you take so many like weirdly things, but you put them together for some strange reason they kind of work. And that's the thing, like Pal World somehow seems to have like struck kind of like this vein of like mixing so many different things in it. Like
yeah. I mean, they have Ark Survival, Breath of the Wild, and Pokemon
Monster Hunter.
And Monster Hunter.
Legends are like also like it's. And by the way, they're borrowing from the Legends Arceus because, like, if you look at the way he the arm reaches and like that whole like ball throwing mechanic is from Legends Arceus. The whole dodging is from Legends Arceus. So the Pokemon capturing is from Legends Arceus. Like, Nix, have you played Legends Arceus? Nix?
I think she's having audio problems.
All right, but yeah. And we're gonna see more of this.
Well, I heard. So I spoke with one of my streamer friends who's he's been streaming the hell out of this game, and he said that he actually prefers the Pal World capture mechanic to anything that has been offered in Pokemon. I can't speak from experience because I haven't played most of the Pokemon games.
Adios, amigo.
I'll see ya. And I'm gonna. I'll leave you on this. Lois Lane is Lois Lame. And by
damn,
I knew what you were gonna do, brother. I knew what you're gonna do. Bye. See you now. Oh my God, Chris, did you see? Only I can see. Like he gave me such a look of contempt. Yeah, so we're gonna go to about 2 hours here. So Chris, just gotta let you know, go for another like 18 minutes. Just gonna get to 2 hours, and we're gonna quit.
Cool.
Oh, Chris, I have been wanting to ask you, and I don't know, maybe my mic wasn't working or something.
Oh yeah, I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay, good, because I plugged in actual headphones instead of earbuds. So I want to get your take on what went down with Suicide Squad. Like that, that. Did you hear about the glitch? That
the one where
completed the game.
Yeah.
I need to know, how would something like that happen?
That's actually a really good question. Thank you, Nix.
That would be a series of failures from both the development team and the certifications team. So, like, I'm assuming this is a console game too. This is probably on the Xbox Series X and PS4, PS5, or whatever. But whatever consoles they're on, you have to send Microsoft and send Sony and send Nintendo your release candidate, which is the build that you plan on burning to a disk. You send it to their certifications team, and they run through a series of tests to find various things like, are your button arrangements matching the scheme of like Xbox? Like, you will never see an interface inside of an Xbox game where they put a square, a triangle, an X, and a circle accidentally. Right. Like, that would never get passed. But there's also things like show-stopping bugs, like, putting a thing where, oops, there's a glitch, and suddenly the game just plays itself and wins. So if it got to that point, it meant that it had to get through the engineers. It had to get through. So like when you release a game, you also have different, what they call builds, which is like versions of the program that you've made. There's generally 3 of them. Like we had the data or the daily build, which is you put your stuff in and it most likely breaks your game. Then you had your QA build, which was once the daily build gets to a stable enough point, it gets pushed over to QA or quality assurance, and then your QA testers are going to kind of beat on it. And then finally, there's the public or release build, which is the one that your customers see, or the ones that you send out for certifications for compliance.
It's beta.
If it ever got to that compliance build, meaning it's had to go through these 3 things, and that compliance build or that public build is sent out to this, to the TCR, TRC certifications people, and a show-stopping bug like the game wins itself if you step on a puddle or something, like that honestly, if I was still in the industry, I probably would have saw about 5 or 6 people getting fired.
Yeah, because like that's not a failure of not just like Rocksteady. That's also a failure of the console makers.
Yep, that's failure across the board.
Yeah, because like that's a failure on 2 fronts at least. Like you would think like the console side would have caught it. Because like those kind of bugs, if they slip past, the potential is like nuclear almost. Well, imagine there's a bug that literally everyone who does it steals all their information, drains their bank account, and then sends them furry pee.
Exactly, and the thing is the bug that Nick's brought up isn't like this esoteric one where you have to do this very convoluted thing to enact it.
You literally just have to start the game.
Yeah, like that.
It's a 100%. What is it, like a 100% view rate or whatever?
Yeah, 100% reproduction. Yeah, reproducible.
Yeah,
like that is
never
a failure.
Never happens.
And they can probably say that people got laid off before and they were working on too small of a team. That doesn't matter. Your responsibility to your customers is to provide a product that doesn't obliterate itself. And that right there is a failure of Rocksteady, Microsoft, Sony, and whatever other consoles that have certifications or compliance tests that test for that stuff. So yeah, that's at least 5 people should have lost their jobs.
So one thing I want to ask you, Chris, is the argument that I would put forth about the layoffs is this is kind of like a correction, because like during COVID, they really overhired to an extreme degree, because like everyone during COVID, they thought like, oh, COVID era is gonna last forever, infinite growth, blah blah blah. Let's go suck some cocaine. And so they did too many people, and now they're just trying to correct that.
Honestly, I saw kind of the opposite. Because a lot of my friends are, like I'd see them on LinkedIn and stuff. COVID didn't have that growth effect. Like I know it had a growth effect on other industries, but in a lot of the AAA industries, people were losing their jobs. And it was like remember Blizzard laid off 800 people after Kotick reported record profits? That happened during COVID.
So that what I said might be the case for the tech industry, but not necessarily the game industry.
Exactly. I think, the tech industry definitely saw a boom, especially with people who work from home. But
how many times did we see those like TikToks of like, oh, let me go to work and I'll have a 4-hour lunch break. I'll have a mojito, then I'll get a foot massage, and maybe I'll attend a meeting. Oh, I'm not sure I'll do any work today.
It was adult
I'll go home at 9.
And then Elon Musk laid off like 70% of his faculty.
Did you see the picture? Did you see the picture of like the Twitter staff after it was all like Asian dudes?
Yeah,
like Chris, you could have gotten a job at Twitter.
Dudes. Yeah, that's right, Milo. But no, it like Elon made a really good point with that, where there was a lot of bloat, and a lot of these tech industries do have a lot of bloat. The sad part though is the video game industry has almost like a reverse bloat where they hemorrhage good employees and they keep the trash. And that's why a lot of these games are in poor quality, and why, to answer Nick's question, why something like a show-stopping bug like this that's 100% reproducible makes it to launch. Okay.
I wouldn't say it's as simple as they keep the trash. The problem is the ones that stick around, and this is like the whole failing upwards, is you have people who are not technically sound, but they know how to play the game.
Yeah, office politicians. Yep.
Yeah, like this is why like anyone who fails upwards, it's not because they're incompetent. It's because they have a different skill set that is and they're very good at exploiting whatever mechanisms, weaknesses, flaws in the system in order to fail upwards. Like they know just what to say, they know like how to interact with people. And I'm not saying like, oh, this woman slept with the boss. It's more like hey, I brought in cookies, and oh, I'm really nice, and I talk to people, and like, oh, we don't want to get rid of that lady. She brought in cookies last week, or
Dude.
Oh, we don't want to get rid of that dude. Everyone loves his jokes.
Well, I tell you a story about we had this guy, we called him Job Destroyer. He was a freaking bully.
Oh.
He would physically intimidate and basically insult people. He'd drop the F-bomb all the time, call everybody the slur F-bomb out loud, like something that HR would fire you on the spot. Yeah. And but he was friends with the CEO. He met him because he worked at like a hobby store, and he befriended the guy. So the guy ended up getting him a job at his company. The CEO ended up getting him a job at his company. He was ill-equipped to handle any kind of feedback. He had absolutely no technical skill. We watched some of his part of the hiring process was we had these maps that you had to build in the Source engine for Team Fortress 2. Like, build us a Team Fortress 2 map, because the job that we are hiring you for is to build multiplayer maps. So we had 3 candidates, and we were told we could only get 2 of them. So candidate 1 came in, and we don't know who it was. We just saw the map. We played it. We're all the designers who were playing this. And the map was ugly as hell, but the gameplay was spot on. Like, this was like, wow, this is a designer who has no artistic ability, but this man clearly knows his fundamentals of gaming.
Hey, guy, how you doing? Sorry,
yeah, like that's a okay. We're gonna put this guy in the good pile. Number two candidate was, the map was gorgeous. Like, it looked professionally made, and the gameplay was pretty decent. Like, there were we could see a few areas for improvement, but all in all, it was a really solid map. The third candidate, the map was broken. It took about a week to get or a couple of days to get the file to get the map to actually load in our game. When we got it, some of the assets were busted. Doors didn't work. We were told to use our imagination, because part of it was a capture point that would capture something and open a door to the next part of the map, and the door never opened, so we couldn't even complete the map. And we were told, just use your imagination or whatever. So I thought it was pretty slam dunk that of the 3 candidates, we had our 2 prospects and our 2 hires. So
yeah,
about 2 weeks go by, and all of a sudden 3 new hires appear in the design bullpen, and we're like, what the hell? And I'm talking to my superior, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, and then we talked to this guy, and he's like, yeah, I worked on, and he basically said the 3rd map, and we're like, what, dude? Was there like miscommunication? Did we say the wrong map? Like, my boss and I were like, holy shit! Oh my god!
Well, this is like some Flintstones level, the movie shenanigans.
Yeah, we were like, holy shit! Did we just hire? Did we just tell our CEO to hire this dumbass?
Did we hire Flintstone instead of we should have hired Barney Rubble?
Exactly. And lo and behold, we talked to the CEO, and he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We got all 3 of them. There's plenty of money there, whatever. So the weeks go by, months go by, a year goes by or whatever. And this guy starts his shit. Starts messing with us. Like, he flicks my hat or whatever. I'm like, you do that again, and we're going to have a problem. Kind of backs off. Well, I'm going to go into UFC and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to do you any good when there's a bullet between your, you flex all you want, but you can't outfight somebody with a gun. And, I'm not going to play your shit. And so he starts getting feedback from some of his maps, and he starts, like, he's angry, he's crumpling paper, slamming things down. And he's like looks over the cube at me, who I'm working on UI stuff. And he's like, these people are freaking stupid, man. Like, how many arrows do I got to put in this map for them to understand this is the direction you're supposed to go? And, I just bit my tongue, because I'm like, hey, dumbass, like, maybe the arrows aren't the problem. Like, maybe your map is just convoluted.
He didn't use enough white paint.
Yeah. So we're getting all that crap going on. And the guy that sits behind me in another cubicle, like, our backs were to each other, him and the Job Destroyer were talking about something. And Job Destroyer just gets so pissed off at it. He's like, shut the F up, you effing hard F. Before I mud stomp your ass with my boot and break my boot off in your ass, all this
literally
stuff.
Anybody else would get walked out the door that instant.
Yeah, and he's leaning over my desk, so I'm like, I can't even ignore it at this point. I just kind of lean my head
Like
sideways
literally,
so he
like
can shout over me.
it's not just, and it's not, and this is how bad it is. It's not just a he said, she said. There's witnesses.
Yeah. And yeah, everybody was like, oh my God. Like, so whatever, it happens, you know, and you know, months go by, whatever, maps are garbage or whatever. I can tell you another story later about how I pissed him off with my map. But anyways, so fast forward to the layoffs where they're like, you know, we spent like Blizzard and never launched a title because we sent everybody to Catalina Island multiple times. So we're now looking at cutting costs. We're watching people abandon ship. Some people that I greatly respected abandoned ship, and the round of layoffs starts. So they lay me off. They lay off a couple other people. Other people just go on their own volition. You know, I'm now facing homelessness. That's what Job Destroyer was doing. He got a job at Blizzard.
Sailing upwards.
Yeah, that's why I have a complete disgust for what happens in these industries where the office politicians who the trash, like I said, sticks around and they chase away anybody worth a damn. Because it wasn't just me that they, you know, it's not an ego thing, because there are people that were a hell of a lot better equipped and more skilled and talented than I was that felt the same way, and they left. And here's the thing is 10 years ago, I left that industry. I've been still gainfully employed in the same company, same job. Everybody on my LinkedIn that works in the video game industry right now has a big old green banner or badge attached to their portrait that says looking for work.
Yeah. The problem is this is not like just a people need to stop pre-ordering games. This is like a massive cultural shift that needs to happen, like the way we view things. And that's not something that happens overnight. Like, and not even something that happens in, I would even say, a year. Like, this is like a decades long kind of thing that needs, like, this is almost a generational kind of thing that needs to happen, because like
yeah,
the kind of problems you have here are institutional. They're ingrained in like, you know, their fabric.
Yeah. Could you imagine if like I or my coworker who's being shouted at happened to have been gay? Like, that would have been a lawsuit against the company.
Not even a lawsuit. Like, if you like the minute, like the thing is, the minute he would have said it, like he probably would have gotten tackled to the ground, like threatening, like saying the hard F and then like threatening violence. He would have gotten tackled to the ground. Like if they would have like dogpile started hitting him, no one would have said anything, and his butt would have been fired instantly. And then if he tried to sue for assault, they would have protected the people. Like, well, we don't know who did it. Oh, the camera was the camera was looking at this like gorgeous poster of Ezio. It was focused on like this camera. It has AI. The AI was like looking at this poster of Ezio when the fight was going down, just conveniently out of frame.
Yeah. Well, and the scary thing is what I just described, that little story about how unprofessional the work environment is and how hostile. That is one of over 100 stories I could tell about that. You know, my 10 years in that industry.
And I do love your stories. I think Nick does too. And I'm sure you'll tell more of them as we go on. But like, let's kind of start wrapping up here. So, Chris, what you got going on this weekend?
This weekend, I'll be watching AEW wrestling with Angelus Draven in a few minutes over on his channel, Angelus Draven. Nice. And then, yeah, dude, I love that stuff. And then I'm
surprised
also...
AEW isn't pouncing on the recent controversies, which we're not going to be talking about. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I am not a big enough wrestling fan to be anywhere even closely qualified to be talking about it. So,
yeah, it's all crap, literally. But in addition to that, I'm working on my book stuff. God, dude, this September is going to be incredible. It's going to be my first experience at a convention as a presenter, basically. I mean, I've gone to several. As a person
who goes to cons all the time, trust me, you will get addicted.
Hell yeah! Well, I mean, I've gone through it from the video game side. I've even done, you know, closed door demos at E3. But like, this is the first time that I'm not representing a company; I'm representing myself. So
it
it's
is like the best feeling ever. Trust
Oh,
me. You're gonna love it. You're gonna have a great time.
awesome, man. Thanks. And yeah, thanks for having me, man. I had a blast tonight.
I mean, yeah, you're a great co-host, and I love both of my co-hosts. Garrett can go frick himself. Nix, what you got going on this weekend?
Honestly, it's the same as I usually do.
JoJo chatbots?
No, I'm with my nieces, so
Oh, nice.
I'll be going a few rounds with my oldest niece in Mario Party and Mario Kart. Which, fun fact, she is 5 and yet plays way better than most kids older than her.
Awesome.
Nice.
I have trained her well.
All right. So if you made it this far, please like, comment, subscribe, give me a heart, whatever platform specific thing you want to do. But so basically for me, I have some stuff I'm going to show, but beyond that, I have something really cool to share. So this is page 18 of 2100 Samurai.
Woo.
Yep. So, do you see what I did here?
Shoryuken!
By the way, I just want to say he's literally going to be shouting Shoryuken.
Nice.
He says, "Let me show you something I learned from Sensei Ken. Shoryuken." That's literally the dialogue. So these are the pencils. We're almost done with the pencil stage. We're going to the inks very soon. Yeah. Thank you, Keely. Appreciate that. And so I'll be on CLD on Jared's channel at 10 p.m. tonight. And then you can catch both me, Nix, and Lug on Pokemon. We're doing Pokemon Yellow. We are, let's see here, we'll be going down the cycling road because got some stuff to do. And then yeah, and then on Sunday I'm going to go visit my girlfriend.
Nice.
But yeah, always a good time. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also, check out the links below. I got links to my Patreon. I got my Rumble. So like I post the pages on Patreon as they come out. So if you want to do that, you just got to subscribe to my Patreon. And then if you want, also if you want to support me, I have a Redbubble. Oh, real quick, I want to show you like some of my awesome designs. Oh, Nix, Chris, have you seen some of my my shirts and whatnot?
No.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta show these off. So this is my Redbubble shop. Let me just kind of put that here. All right, you can check that out. And so yeah, this is, let's see here. These are ones that I've got, like so for the Screecher fans, you got these. And these come in like different types of designs, like hoodies and all that stuff.
Nice.
Really. Yeah, Redbubble is actually a really cool shop, honestly.
Yeah.
Got the Screecher logo here, kind of like I'm Batman, kind of thing. I mean, look at that cap. Like that actually looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of an example of my my Redbubble, and
Yeah.
like if you want to support me, that's a great way to do so. I would very much say so. All right. So thank you everyone for joining me, and as always, remember, I can only show you the door. You must walk through it.